Having a switch point in your personality can be confusing enough, especially as a curious vanilla or navigating newbie. But the concept of switching from a naturally submissive space to an empowered dominant space can be completely crippling if you struggle with shyness, anxiety, insecurity, or codependency. So if that's you, keep watching today because I'm sharing 7 female domination secrets that will turn your shy into savage. If you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I'm Miss LX and I'm so glad you're here because these 7 points I'm about to share with you have the power to radically transform not only your dominant expression, but your overall sense of personal value and confidence as an empowered woman. So our first point is about modifying your pace. If your workspace looks anything like mine, you have multiple computer monitors, your phone and tablet, maybe even an Apple Watch and an Alexa device as I do, all with the same powerful ability to distract. Many of us in the Western world struggle with focus and time management because although technology has the ability to improve our efficiency, our focus is often split across multiple devices and projects as we rush and strain and strive. We have desks covered in potential distractions and a pocket full of the world's news, opinions, and drama waiting for us when we simply go to call our loved ones. Technology can distract us as well as disconnect us, even from ourselves. That's why it's so important, especially as a switch, to slow down and tune in to your emotional state. Now, as women, many of us have been subconsciously programmed to gaslight ourselves out of our emotions. We often hear rhetoric like erratic, flighty, crazy, over the top, dramatic, and immature surrounding the presence of our emotions. Many of us have been taught by insecure and powerless men that we are valued only for our pretty face and figure and not our insights and intellect. Abusive religious circles have tried to convince us that we need to keep sweet, pray, and obey, be meek and quiet in order to be pleasing to their twisted version of God, falsely represented in their authoritarian male leadership. So when it's time to step into a realm, ladies, where we're fully free to not only feel our feelings, but allow our feelings to influence our authentic expression, many women struggle with even acknowledging how they feel, let alone expressing what they need. But I also need to clarify that your emotions are designed as excellent slaves, but terrible masters. As a dominant, you should be so powerful that you don't have to be controlling, but you're fully in control of yourself, including your emotions. So feel your feelings, acknowledge them, even allow your emotions to influence your dominant expression. But do not allow your emotions to control you, your integrity, or your actions. So, with that being said, we must begin here by raising our level of self-awareness in 2 main areas. 1, awareness of your triggers and how they manifest in your body. And 2, awareness of your needs and how they manifest in your emotions. And to help you do so, try asking yourself these questions. What do I feel right now? What does this feeling tell me about my needs? How can I advocate for my needs in a way that makes me feel empowered? Essentially, ladies, when something triggers or upsets you, give yourself permission to stop and explore why you feel triggered and where you might be feeling it in your body so you can recognize the trigger easier the next time. And this will often reveal an area that you need to set a boundary or a rule or begin training your submissive around, okay? And you also need to view your emotions as clues as to what you might want or need and begin setting, again, rules, rituals, protocols, and points of training in these areas. The more honest you can be with yourself about what pleases and displeases you, the more authentic and effective your dominant expression will be. The next thing I would advise is to mentally explore your desires with curiosity. As we discussed in the last point, subconscious programming from a variety of sources can lead to a sense of selfishness or shame for being honest about your desires and points of arousal as a dominant woman and sexual creature. So that is where I would encourage you to begin, ladies. Buy a gorgeous new journal just for your femdom journey and use it to explore the previous questions we've already highlighted, as well as what act, experience, or emotion sounds intriguing, exciting, or arousing. Ladies, this is your opportunity to get alone with yourself and to give yourself permission to let your mind and emotions wander. What fantasies come up for you? What scenarios arouse you sexually or in your dominant expression? What would make you feel desired and honored by a submissive? In what ways could a submissive serve you and make your life easier? These are all questions you must answer honestly if you're going to lead a submissive and train them to serve you. You must know what pleases you before you can train a submissive to be pleasing. Exploring your curiosities, however, isn't enough. Once you identify what you want and need from your dynamic, it's time to consistently advocate for your own needs. And in a DS context, a dominant advocating for their needs looks like establishing effective rules, rituals, protocols, and points of submissive training. Think of this principle as training an actual dog as a pet, okay? My baby Jamie is absolutely amazing and hilarious and brings so much joy to my life. However, I'm an HSP, highly sensitive person, okay? So loud noises and reoccurring sounds can create a lot of stress and even anxiety for me. So having a quiet and peaceful environment in my home, in my workspace, is a very high priority for me. And although Jamie is practically perfect in every way, the child has a mouth on him, okay? So reducing or completely eliminating unnecessary barking is a natural point of training. Acknowledging my needs revealed a boundary. That boundary pointed to an area of training necessary to honor that boundary. That point of training then reinforces what I will and will not allow in my home and in my life. Do you see where I'm going with this dominance? Consistently advocating for your needs as a dominant creates a natural pathway towards submissive training and rituals. So, in that gorgeous new femdom journal, stop and ask yourself whenever you feel confused or triggered, what do I feel right now? What does that tell me about what I might need? And how can I advocate for my needs in a way that feels empowering and would foster the desired power gap? One of the reoccurring areas of focus when working with my femdom clients is what I refer to as crippling empathy. This occurs when a dominant focuses too much on the submissive's experience that they inadvertently destroy the power gap and kill submissive arousal. If you struggle with pervasive thoughts like, will my submissive like this? Will they want this? Is this too much? Was that hard enough? Am I dominant enough? Am I being too dominant? Do I sound tough enough? Did I go too far? Is this crossing a line? Is this what they're looking for? Is this turning them on? Any of those things, you're not thinking like a dominant. You're thinking like a codependent service top. That's not your role here. So get out of your head and into your body and make a mental note of what you desire and what you crave from your dominant experience. Because here's the secret, ladies. There's no such thing as too dominant. A submissive getting exactly what they want whenever they want it will actually kill submissive arousal because they're technically never releasing. They're never releasing control. They know what to expect and when, and this eliminates most spontaneity and excitement. And if you, as the dominant, cater to that, you are now in a service role to the submissive. So get real about what you want for yourself, your dynamic, and your submissive. And own it. Speak it. Set rules. Establish expectations. The more you set boundaries and take up your space with confident authority, the more of a power gap and subsequent submissive arousal you will foster. I would also encourage you ladies to find your femdom style. And this doesn't necessarily mean custom cat suits and corsets or leather and latex if you don't want to do that, okay? If you're not into that. I encounter a great deal of pressure and subsequent shame projected on the dominant women I work with, where they either feel like they cannot authentically express the demonstration expected of them, or they have no desire to operate in the stereotypical, aggressive, sadistic, masculine space most commonly portrayed in femdom porn. And quick note on that, femdom porn exists for men and often does not represent healthy female domination or a sustainable female-led dynamic. But all too often, my female clients come to me in a panic because that's exactly what happened with their male partner. Their partner's been watching kink and femdom porn because they already disconnected emotionally and sexually from one another. And then the guy approaches his female partner with a daunting list of specific femdom fantasies and requests, often labeled as sexual needs, that she's now, she feels often obligated to fulfill for fear that he will be disappointed, he'll leave, he'll cheat, or he may even hire a pro. So, listen up, ladies. Fuck all of that, okay? Such oppressive expectations are designed to shame your true sexual desires and control your feminine expression. True female power is you showing up, ladies, however the fuck you want to. Okay? So ask yourself, what makes you feel confident, sexy, and powerful? If you feel like a mommy dom on Monday and want to nurture your submissive while wearing leisure wear and an apron, go for it. If you want to celebrate hump day in a dark, sadistic style with your favorite pair of thigh-high PVC boots, rock it. If Friday night has you basking in a soft feminine space as you rest from the week in a decadent pink fur-lined gown, fabulous, embrace it. The key is to be attuned to your moods and creative expressions and allow your dominance to organically flow through wherever you find yourself day to day and moment by moment. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you've likely heard me say that you cannot be an insecure dominant. And this is primarily due to the problems we've already discussed throughout this video, especially a moment ago when we're talking about crippling empathy. But if you're approaching your dynamic with insecurity, you will subconsciously look to your submissive as a barometer of your performance in order to ease your anxiety and boost your sense of security. The problem is, this is an obvious tell that you are not in control. Your submissive actually is, because they have the power to influence your sense of confidence and authority. And this will obviously flip the rightful power dynamic on its head. So we must solve this problem before it begins by building confidence in your authority, speech, and demonstration. And throughout this video, we've already begun to encourage your authority, that you are a strong, beautiful, empowered woman who deserves honor. You deserve honor. You deserve service. You deserve pleasure. And the more awareness you build within yourself, meditate on the journal prompts we've already discussed today, communicate honestly, and consistently set rules and boundaries that make you feel empowered, the more security you will find in your authority. I would also advise that you focus on your speech by practicing using different words and playing with the intonation and cadence in your voice. You should never be intimidated by words as a dominant. So, if you feel that way, if some words have you feeling a little shy, like you don't want to speak them, list them out. List some words, list some phrases and commands that you would like to feel totally comfortable speaking. Get in front of a mirror and practice until these words, phrases, and commands feel totally natural. You will also need to feel confident in your demonstration within a scene. So be sure you know all of your toys and tools inside and out. Research and practice on your own until you feel confident to include your partner, either for additional practice outside of a formal scene or to test your feet in your first formal scene. And finally, ladies, I want you to give yourself permission to switch without shame. There is often this subconscious pressure that we as women feel to stay in a particular lane and repress our true emotions and needs because our emotional fluidity has been historically shamed. We've often received messages, both verbal and unspoken, that our emotional capacity makes us flighty, erratic, unreliable, dramatic, etc. And in order to be a trustworthy leader, we must deny or disable these feminine traits within us that are designed to bring so much nurturing, warmth, and empathy into the world. Yes, some women are emotionally unstable and stoop to reputation derogation or other such toxic antisocial behaviors. I've met plenty of them, and they need healing, okay? But those are often just that, trauma wounds that manifest differently in women than they do in men. So let's just be clear, okay? Being emotional doesn't mean that you're crazy. A capacity for deep empathy doesn't mean that you're weak. Operating with intense passion doesn't mean that you're unhinged, okay? And as I said earlier, our emotions make excellent slaves, but terrible masters. That's the goal here, ladies. Emotional mastery. The ability to calmly notice what you want and what you need and choose to advocate for your needs in an empowering way. That right there is the essence of female domination. And you have the power to step in and out of that space whenever and however it serves you. All right, fellow queens, let me hear it. Which one of these points did you find particularly impactful to your unique journey right now? Comment below and let me know. And be sure you're subscribed and have those notifications turned on because next week, I am starting a new 3-part series all about female sexuality that will empower you ladies to own your desires and pursue your pleasure for maximum emotional, physical, and sexual satisfaction.